The Tale of Two Princesses. Once upon a time, there lived a king. When his wife died, the monarch was left with two small girls. He wedded again after his first wife passed away. His second wife despised her stepkids and was frequently cruel to them. The king never bothered to look after them, and instead let his wife treat them as she pleased. The poor girls were really sad as a result of this. One of them said to the other one day, "Let's not linger any longer. Come into the bush, because no one here cares if we go or stay." As a result, they both walked into the jungle. They eventually came to a magnificent palace after a long journey. One of the princesses whispered to the other, "This magnificent palace in the midst of the jungle can only belong to the dreadful ogre who has harmed our people for so long. However, no one is at home right now. Let's go inside and see what we can find to eat." As a result, they entered the ogre's home and discovered little rice. When the ogre and his wife arrived home, they hadn't even completed their supper. The two princesses were so terrified that they bolted to the top of the house and took refuge on the flat roof. A princess saw the building's courtyard, while the other could view the broad countryside. The ogre and his wife, on the other hand, frequently visited the rooftop. The two princesses had no choice but to flee. They took cover behind some corn stalks, but it wasn't enough to keep them safe for long. When the ogre entered the house, he took a look around and told his wife, "Someone has rearranged the furniture, and everything now appears to be in a different place. Is this anything you did, wife?" "I don't know who could have done all of this," she remarked. "Someone has also been preparing the rice," the ogre added. "Did you make the rice, wife?" "No," she replied. "It was not my fault. I'm not sure who did it." "Someone has arrived. I get a whiff of human flesh and blood. What are their chances of being found?" "Stuff and nonsense," the wife remarked. They continued to argue in this manner until the ogre said, "Let's go outdoors and drink some water." As a result, the ogre and his wife proceeded to a nearby well. They were noticed by the princesses, who were on the roof of the mansion. The youngest of the two princesses was a brilliant young lady. "I'll do something now that will be excellent for us and everyone," she told her sister when she saw the ogre and his wife by the well. The girl pushed the ogre and his wife down into the well with a powerful push. She then informed her sister that she took care of the ogres. "How?" her sister exclaimed. "They've perished in the well." For a long time, the two princesses lived peacefully in the ogre's house. "Take care that if you see any stranger coming by the house, to hide so that nobody knows we live here." The younger princess, who was the wiser one, would often remark to her sister in the morning. But it was a long time before anyone came that way. Finally, one day, an elderly queen came to see the magnificent palace. The queen was subsequently informed that the home was Ogre's property. She went in anyhow, despite the warning. As the queen went into the house, she met the princess. She was astonished by the beauty of the young girl. She offered, "You are such a pretty girl. You can come with us and live in our place." The queen further said she would be happy to marry her son to the beautiful young girl. The princess refused, she said, "I must wait for my sister." The queen understood her dilemma and left with a promise that she would visit her often, and when her sister returned, they could live together in her palace. The princess waited for a long time, but the sister did not return as she lost her way in the woods. And one day, she finally accepted the offer of the prince and the queen. She married the eldest son of the queen and lived happily, but she would deeply miss her sister. One day, the eldest prince and his younger brother went to the same forest for hunting. As they were hunting, the younger brother met a brave and beautiful woman who was dwelling alone amidst the forest. He asked the lady, "Why are you alone in such a deep forest?" The lady was none other than the lost sister of the princess. She explained her whole story of how they fled from their evil stepmother and how they lived in the house of Ogre. She then explained that she lost her sister. The young prince sympathized with the lady and brought her to the place. As she entered the palace, she found her lost sister. She was delighted to meet her. The lost sister was then married to the young prince, and both the sisters and the princess lived happily ever after in their place. Moral of the story: it teaches us the important lesson to be brave in the face of adversity.